This is Honey Badger Nation,
where real estate agents from around the globe come together
to grow, collaborate,
and expand their business.
Where we take our individual fires and put them together and make one big fire.
This is the Honey Badger Nation.
Hello.
What's up?
Hey, Jay.
What's happening? How you doing, man?
Oh, doing excellent. I always feel good after that intro too.
Right? Yeah. I feel like it's always a letdown. It goes from like all pumped up to then it's like, hey, oh, we're here.
Like, hi. Well, I'm
that's all
so
good, man. I love it. Good stuff.
Well, I'm
Exciting.
so glad that you're able to jump on with me today here, and it's a real honor, it's a real pleasure, and for anybody watching, if you don't know who Jay Kinder is and its history and everything, you can Google him. He's all over the place. The man is kind of a legend, in the industry. I think some of the things that that stand out are, NAEA for one of them, one of the top recruiters, at EXP Realty, Lawton, Oklahoma, claim to fame, selling
Right.
500 plus homes a year, building teams, building empires, all the above. So, and Jay and I met, boy, I think over a decade ago now.
Yeah. It had to be 2009 or 10, somewhere in there.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And kind of like and before the whole NAEA thing and all that, it was just you and Mike and, doing your thing. In fact, you know what it was with me too, Jay?
Yeah.
Like you remember when you guys were selling some websites at some point,
Yep.
And I think I might've been on your list.
Yep. That would make sense. Yep. That is how it started. We don't always talk about the website sales company, but that was like the official entry into the space that led to coaching and all of that was those websites we were using through Web Agent Solutions. It was good times though. Yeah.
Right. Oh, Web Agent Solutions. Yep. That's right. Yep. That's how we all kind of got started. And then, and that's how we, got introduced. And then I started coaching with Jay and Mike and just that the entire program has just been a journey and just been amazing. And, lots of really cool interactions, really great friends, a lot of fun. Just been having a great time. And now look at it, things are amazing, right? I mean, tell me something amazing this year. Like what's amazing?
Shoot. So 2022, I mean, first of all, we've had a lot of fun and over the years, I think the one thing that, the theme, if you will, has been, man, there's got to be a better way, right? Like, we've been always trying to figure out what's the, the best way to structure the real estate business and, for the long term and, for the future. And so, there's challenges that we face, but as long as you keep looking, man, you'll eventually figure out, and find a better way. And that's really what we've done. But this year's been fantastic. One of the things that I did this year that I think is something that intentionally you always kind of want to do, but you don't always do. And so I live in Puerto Rico, fortunate enough to be an island boy right now. So having some fun here in Puerto Rico. But
did you ever think you'd be in Puerto Rico?
It wasn't even on
pull you out of the US.
Yeah, no, it's it wasn't even on the vision board, right? Like it wasn't even, really as like, well, when would it ever make sense that, I would be so free, have so much time freedom that I could actually move to an island, right? Like that's a little different level of freedom than, what I would have ever expected. So that's been cool. But we planned a trip every month this year for, since we're here, the kids are here and, get to go see different parts of the island, different islands that are close to Puerto Rico with some of my favorites. We've been there before, Masterminds, St. Thomas, BVI, St. Mark's, all of those are things that I want I want to experience. I want the kids to experience. And so we got that planned and we did our first little trip this year already. And so it started off with that in place and then getting to execute on that because we're not going to live here probably forever. But if we do, if we don't, you just want to make sure you get to see it all while we're here. So that's been probably the coolest thing so far this year. We got to experience that, a little event we had in to El Conquistador in Fajardo, which was last week. Glenn Sanford was in town. All the upper brass, some of the top people in the company. Exciting things coming for this year. Excited about it and what direction we're going, and just trying to grow. And really, it's all about how do we at scale add the most value to the agents that we help bring to the company and help them be more successful. That's really the same thing we've been doing all these years, except for now we just don't ask for a credit card.
So yeah, tell me a little bit more about that, because when I talk to people, about this, I just know that, I coached with you guys for many, many years, still do, and we were in your mastermind level, for I think pretty much the whole time you were running it.
Yep.
And it was really, really good stuff. And now it's just kind of open to the group, right? And all this content, everything that's been built up now is just available. So it's kind of a different focus, right? I mean,
yeah, dude. What's funny about that is the mastermind level was exclusive to territory, right? So like there was, even within our own group, which was quite an abundant group, we still had the right of refusal. You guys had the right of refusal whether you wanted to let someone in, because some of the best ideas and the best things that you learned, even at that level, even though these people probably aren't exactly in the same maybe market as you, you don't want to give your best ideas to your competition. And so that's still the mindset. Now it's complete abundance. Everybody's sharing their best stuff with everybody. And that's unique. I think it's unique to find a place where everybody feels safe and they can share the things that are working without feeling threatened. And that environment, now our masterminds have just evolved to that level because of EXP. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to look back and think, hey, we were still kind of guarded with sharing some of the best stuff, even within our mastermind.
Yeah, I fully remember those days, and now just being immersed in the culture that that's been created by all of this, and Honey Badger Nation and EXP and everything. It's almost it almost seems like off in the distance where we were sort of huddled around our our secret sauces and things that we were doing. Right now it's just all open, but I know as a as a whole, as a realtor community as a whole, is still very alive, where people are everybody's in competition with everybody else, and intra office and whatnot, and that's just not the case here, right?
Yeah, I mean this is the next evolution of real estate. We're doing something that's not normal within the industry, and when the business model is correctly aligned, we are all in alignment together financially. So it makes sense for us to share our best ideas. If we all grow together and the company does better, we all own stock in the company, so we all do better. And so that just hasn't been the case in the past. I always joke about my dad. He finally joined EXP. He bought Coldwell Banker franchise in '97, right when I got licensed, and at the end of that year, after graduating high school, and even if he was wanting, he could. There's nothing he could have said vision for the company that I would have been like, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, let's go Dad's company. Like even me at a young age, I was like, does this mean you're going to mess with my split? Because if you mess with my split, I'm not on board with whatever it is you're talking about. There was always that mindset that I'm good with the company unless the company starts trying to take more of my money. That's kind of always been the mindset in every other company that I've seen. But here it's like, hey, how do we add value to everybody? How do we get everybody doing more deals? How do we help everybody win together? And that's the true difference in this model is we have a financial incentive to do that through the revenue share, but we also have the benefit of having ownership and having stock that when the company does well, we do well. And it just changes the behavior of everyone in the company. It really does. And it's hard for people to probably understand how different that can be. But when you've got so many great people that have built, like yourself, $1 million companies, and I say $1 million GCI, not $1 million production, multi-million dollar GCI businesses that have the capability to help you navigate the waters of growing your real estate business. This is a pretty cool thing to be a part of, because you can actually get help from somebody instead of feeling kind of like you're on an island trying to figure it out for yourself.
So tell me about that a little bit more, because I mean you're well known for saying, hey, how do we take all of our fires and put them together and make one big fire, right? And that's what this is all about, the one big fire. That's where it came from. And I still remember that. I was in the room when you said that. And I was proud to say I was there. It was really cool. It was inspiring. But I from my perspective, back then, we were all sort of like, we all kind of started out the big boxes, the Coldwell Bankers, the Keller Williams, all that. And then we sort of migrated at some point into kind of being independent brokers, right? And then that's where that came out, we're trying to figure out a partnership program, and how do we all work together, because we like each other, we want to be together, but how do we do that, right? And so tell me that, like what were your frustrations before EXP, and even at your level, and what you're doing, you're crushing stuff, and you're just, you're doing big things in the industry. How did it help you? And what answers did EXP give you?
Yeah. So, I mean, it was clearly, we all had the vision of wanting to do something together, right? Like-minded people want to build something together, but we would never have gotten past, whose name goes on the sign. It would have had 27 last names, real estate, right? Like, we would have never been able to come up with what's the name on the sign, just because our egos would have gotten in the way. And so it was, but we all wanted to work together. And the only way that we were able to do that is if somebody was, paying all to be a part of our mastermind group. And that wasn't the goal. The goal was like, how do we do something together? But we could never really figure that piece out. We knew that was something we all desired. We knew that could be beneficial. We knew that we could do something better together than if we were apart. But what was the way that was going to look? We never found. And, when you keep looking, and you keep, banging on the idea of something, eventually you're going to find it. And so we found it with, the platform of EXP, and it just enables us to, as a platform, it allows us to build what we all want to build individually without having to, join our own, changing, all the LLCs and all of us trying to, all the legal trouble we'd had to gone through to be business partners, because we all make a little bit off of revenue share off of the agents that we bring in. And so we're all in financial alignment. And so, once that became clear to me that this was just a platform for us to work together, and not have to, nobody's writing checks to each other or for anything, and all of, just cleaned everything up and made it instantly scalable nationwide, and really now globally, that was the aha moment, right? Like, you mean we could all be in business together? Nothing has to really change. We're going to basically get paid to be at this company, EXP. We're not going to pay anything. They're going to pay us. And we're going to help other people build what they want to build in their own brands on this same platform. And once that clicked, it was like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And then, of course, your ego again gets in the way and says, well, why don't you just copy what they're doing? And I think, luckily, we didn't take that route, because, we would have built something, but it would have been a lot less freedom that we're experiencing right now. And there was just no better structure than what they already had. So that was the aha moment. We believed in the vision. We believed in the leadership in the company. We believed they could execute, and we got on board with it because we saw a better way for all of us to build and grow our individual businesses, create a passive income, substantial passive income that can retire folks in a big way. And then, ultimately, the stock and ownership for agents was a big deal. We know that, agents, eventually, they're going to leave and go do their own thing. There was always that piece of the independent model, that your best agents eventually become your competition. And it was bittersweet, because, you wanted to celebrate their success, but then they're leaving and you have no incentive to help them anymore with things you could still help them with. And so that piece in this model, it solved. And then the stock, I don't know, at the end of a 20-year career, I'm at 25 years in the business. I'd love to have had stock over the last 20 years being accumulated. And I don't know what that's going to be worth in 20 years, but I think everybody that's at EXP is going to be really, really happy that they were at EXP getting stock awards, as opposed to just, getting, trophies and things of that nature as a not quite the equivalent, I think, when it comes to your net worth at the end of your career. So those are just a beautiful business model ultimately. And it made sense for us to align with this and really try to help build it.
And the company has grown so much too. and just even since the time that, that we've been involved with it, right? I mean, it's really taken off.
Oh man, it's I think there was 5,000 agents, a little less than that, when we went to the event right towards the end of 2017. And whatever it is today, 72, 73,000 agents today, and growing at a pace that no company's ever grown. It's pretty impressive for sure. And we have a small hand in helping do that. But yeah, there's got to be an awareness, right? Like, if there's a restaurant that's taken on, like Chipotle was one of those restaurants that, like, all of a sudden you see Chipotle's popping up everywhere. And there's a reason to probably go check that out and see what it is. And it's the same thing with the EXP. When you see a company growing, you see the top people in the industry all moving over here, and you think you know what it is, but you haven't really done your own investigation and really tried to figure it out. You might be missing something. And so, everybody's going to be at EXP eventually. It's just there's not any real good reason not to be, other than your ego in the way, or, well, that's the only real good logical reason. And it's not logical. It's just what it is. But yeah, it's just a better way.
Well, and I want to echo, because at EXPCon, Glenn was saying, do the math, right? Yeah. I mean, and I just love that, because when you really, like you said, just set aside the ego, set aside the branding for a second, set aside all that stuff, and just simply do the math. I mean, it just makes sense. And when I saw that, you probably saw it when Albie put up on his story, like it was about a 10 slide series, and it was about, like, okay, are you doing 25 transactions a year as an agent? Okay, here's what it would have been if you had just done that same thing 3 years ago in EXP, and for the last 3 years, and here's what you would have gotten. Right. Yeah. You just took it all through, and it ended up being, it was like 300,000+ in stock and all this stuff, because, and you get all of you get your 16K cap back, and, for making Icon. So just, I mean, when you just sit there and do the math,
it is as simple as doing the math. I mean, that's, even if you don't believe in any other opportunities that EXP offers, like, just do the math and start with that. And if nothing else, if you don't believe that, we could help you grow your business, you have to really have a lot of limiting beliefs to not come to the conclusion this is better, right? Like, you gotta be really and just absolute have a mindset of, I don't believe anything anybody says. I don't believe anything anybody tells me. Can't be true. It's got to be your mindset. Otherwise, it's like, well, even if this was only 10% of what it looks like it could be, it's still twice as good as anything else that's out there. So yeah, it's funny. I feel like I'm saying this. I've been saying it for 4 years now. I'm like, who am I talking to right now that's not listening? And then how do I get their attention? Like, how do I listen up? This is real. It's the best thing you've ever seen, man.
Well, tell me a little bit about Honey Badger Nation, specifically, and what that means to you. I mean, when we were doing, NAEA, we had this Honey Badger Award, right?
Yeah.
And this yearly thing and all that. And then just tell me a little bit about that.
Like, yeah. Well, you were the recipient of the Honey Badger Award one year. That was the most coveted award at our events. And, we had a lot of top agents from all around the world in our group, and they would come to the Exponential Growth Summit, and you kind of knew who was going to hit the production and win the production award, and you kind of knew who was going to hit the GCI award, but you never knew who was going to win the Honey Badger Award. And that all came about when the Honey Badger video that years ago that came out. So it's been about that many years ago. It's a funny video. If you haven't looked, if you don't know what we're talking about, go Google Honey Badger versus Snake or something like that on YouTube, and you'll see why we thought it was so funny. Crazy. I mean, the animal is really representative of what I think it takes to be successful in real estate. And it kind of became our spirit animal. And so, when we were joining the EXP, we didn't really know what we wanted to name the group. And for lack of, real thought put into it, we said, well, let's just call it Honey Badger Nation and, powered by EXP or whatever. And so we named the Facebook group that, and lo and behold, it's kind of been accepted as the the spirit animal for this entire group, and resilient, never gives up. That's kind of the caliber of people that we tend to attract, and so that's kind of how it became named that. It was kind of a joke. It wasn't really totally meant to be that forever, but there's no taking it away now. So we went with it. It's our little spirit animal, but it's a group of people and within the organization of EXP that I feel like are some of the top minds in real estate in the industry. And when you're aligned with a group of people like that, it's pretty special. And I always used to say, like, you always want to be the dumbest guy in the room, but like, great people kind of suck you up to their level. And certainly, the Honey Badger group is full of people that will it will humble you. If you think you're the best in the world, you'll look around and be like, well, I thought I was doing really good, but over here going, Veronica doing 17, almost 2,000 transactions last year. Those are numbers that I never even dreamed of. So like, there's a lot you can learn from people, being around people like that. And that's our group within EXP. And I think it's certainly one of the more powerful groups of people in the company.
How many are in it now? 8,000, 9,000, something like that?
I think collectively a little over right at 10,000. I think is where it's at right now, and so wow. Pretty good chunk of the overall company. But certainly, the number one agent in production, the number one agent in GCI, the number two agent in production, number two agent in GCI. Probably in the top 10, we probably got six or seven of the top 10 agents in the company, and so wow. lots of great people to learn from.
Right. And it's a lively group too. It's it's
pretty outspoken.
Yeah. Pretty outspoken, so,
somebody asked me the other day, they said, what did you do to make this group, so special? I said, well, the truth is I didn't do anything. The truth is the people in the group is what makes the value of the group. And, the Facebook group that we created, we didn't have Workplace at EXP when we created the Facebook group. And so, if you've ever been a part of a Facebook group that has a bunch of people that answer questions that aren't qualified to answer questions, you can get to be a part of a large group that doesn't have any real leadership and real people that, when they speak, you should listen. Real estate agents always have an opinion. Hey, you should do this or do that. And they've never done it before. And so this group, what still amazes me to this day is like, you go in there and look at who's answering questions, who's, responding and sharing, all their just giving documents away and presentations and whatever it is, here's the last ad set I ran, that kind of stuff that's happening is, the givers are the top people in the company. And that still blows my mind. Like, but that's what makes a great group is, the people and who you're listening to and, the leadership of within the group. And so that's really what made it special, is the people for sure.
And tell me about like your excitement today with EXP and kind of where it's going. Like what do you what do you want to tell everybody like you're super excited about going forward here?
Yeah. So for the last, it's funny, we could bring my wife in here, my kids in here, and they would probably have a better answer than me. Is like what, like they've been through 4 years of every single day, me being as excited as I've ever been about this opportunity, about the direction that we're going, the lives that we're changing. It's just been unbelievable. And so, there's, I want everyone to be able to experience it and be a part of it. And so, I get excited all day, every day. And, every conversation I have is, you can kind of feel that. But, what I'm excited about is, this, what we're doing has never been done before. Currently, nobody's ever grown as fast as the company is growing. But the opportunity is the next 4 years, there will be more agents that join EXP than the last 4 years. So, there's this mindset of some people have is like, well, maybe I'm too late. But literally, the opportunity is bigger. The next 4 years, we're going to bring more agents into EXP than we did the last 4 years by a long shot. And so, that's what's exciting is we're still just getting started. And, every day I'm talking to really smart people that are just now coming aboard. And, that's the thing that excites me is like, we really haven't scratched the surface. And, I was looking at, and it's not, it's not all about the revenue share. A lot of people think it's all about recruiting. Well, yeah, it is about recruiting. Every real estate company is about recruiting. But the revenue share is a piece that real estate agents get to take part in, as opposed to just the regional owner or a franchise owner. And so, we all get to earn a little bit of passive income by helping grow the company and ultimately by adding value to the people that we bring on board. That's really what it boils down to. And so, the more impact we can have on more people's lives, the more our opportunity is for us to earn, passive income. And that's a big deal. And being financially free is great. That's great. But I was looking at, the early years of Keller Williams and profit share, and you didn't know if it was going to work or not, and you don't know if still don't know if it's going to be a profitable office or not. But there are people that are still making $800,000, $1 million a year in profit share, 20 years later, 30 years later. And so when you think about what this could be in 20 years from now, like it's pretty dadgum unbelievable. And so I think, anytime you have something this good that, that's going so well, you always kind of wonder, man, it's going to have to come to an end sometime. But,
Right.
I think the reality is that what we've seen in the real estate industry is that you can't disrupt the relationship between agent and buyer and seller. And so, the companies that have tried to disrupt in that way and put all the money into disrupting the relationship between, this is why Zillow got out of the home sales business, of investor business of buying real estate. They couldn't monetize it. And so, there's been a lot of money put into that in the last 5 years and disruption in that direction. But if you look at now where the money's been going, it's to agent centric companies, meaning that the big betting that the agent is going to be the transaction, not that tech will replace the agent. And so that's a big thing for us to kind of hang our hat on, is that, hey, we survived a lot of money coming into the industry trying to disrupt us and replace us. And so, and the big boys kind of gave up. And so now we have the ability to, raise the standard as, real estate agents being the conduit to the real estate transaction, and really be at that higher level, expert advisor. That's why we created an AEA. And so that's a really promising thing, that our future in real estate is very bright. That we don't have to worry about as much about being disrupted by technology, which at one point I thought was probably going to be somehow going to happen. But it really comes down to the agent and the expertise of the agent in that real estate transaction. So pretty cool feeling to know that we're going to be around for a while. But that's, it's exciting that, the next 10 years are going to be really good for anybody who gets involved in this opportunity, I think.
And we're seeing people come over too that are large producers, individuals, and even new agents now too, because it seems like the training is always been there, but it's really ramped up too in the last few years. I've noticed that the even the training modules and everything else that we have virtually for people is pretty amazing. And not to mention just the Honey Badger group itself.
Right.
Everything with that, right?
So I mean, new agents, there's a tremendous number of new agents that get into the industry every year, and every company tries to recruit them, and I think, I'm not going to name names, but some company just recruit, and the handful of one or two out of 10 that make it, great, and the other ones, they don't really try too hard to help them be successful. And I think anybody that's watching this, if you go back and think about when you got in the industry, if you weren't an EXP, for sure, that there was a lack of training for how to be successful in the business. It wasn't clear to you. There wasn't, someone you felt that woke up every day thinking about how to help you be successful. And, that's a problem. And it's part of the reason I got into coaching and training in the first place, was I was so frustrated with how damn hard it was to be successful. I'm like, if everybody has to do what I had to do to be successful, most people ain't gonna be successful, because I just was dumb enough and worked hard enough to figure it out, and just was, for whatever reason, was relentless enough to try to stick with it. Most people would throw in the towel. And so we can make it easier for agents to be successful. And I think that's been a big focus of EXP, not to just recruit new agents to get numbers, but to actually help agents get into production and actually make this career work out for them, as opposed to, 80% of them getting out in the first year. And so, when you focus on, when I say agent centric, meaning we're focused on the agent, and the broker's relationship isn't with buyers and sellers. The broker's relationship is with agents. And the more that you focus on helping the agents be successful, the more successful the company will be. And that's I just don't think there's anyone close to doing it as good as EXP is doing it. And they also have the top agents in the industry that are adding additional value, doing all the training, 50 plus hours a week of training. If you're betting against EXP, you're actually betting against probably the top brightest minds in the industry, which is, I wouldn't bet against all of us. That's crazy. And so, they've got that leverage with, the opportunity being as big as it is, that we're never going anywhere. You'll never get us to leave. And we're only going to continue to find ways to add more value to every person in the company. I mean, who's going to bet against that? It's crazy.
That's right. Yeah. Well, what is what's the next step for anybody here? I mean, if they're interested in EXP, I mean, can they talk to you or anything? I mean,
man, shoot. I mean, I would say, here's, the easiest thing to do would be to reach out to you, Harley, and have a conversation. Like, right. Easy, whatever the best way to reach you, I would say at least have a conversation. Like, all right, you guys piqued my interest. Now I have some questions, or we can share with you, a little bit of information. And I think the biggest blind spot most people have in EXP is they think they know the model, and they generally, there's too much to it that they don't know all the details. But even someone who's looked at it really closely, including myself, I did it 3 times before I finally understood every piece of it and really had a good grasp of it, is that you don't know what it's like to partner with us. You don't have any idea what's the additional value that we bring to the table that you're going to get access to. That part is something that even if you looked at the model before, you don't really know what that is. And so, you have to do the investigative work. But if you don't talk to you, Harley, or myself, or we don't, jump on and really show them what it is that we do that's different and how we can help them in ways that they may not even know is possible, then you don't truly know what you're saying no to. And so that's the most important thing you could do. Reach out, have a conversation. You have nothing to lose. I mean, you have everything to gain. And, I think that that's the easiest way for you to get clarity on whether this is a better opportunity for you than where you're at currently.
Yep. I agree. And once you see it,
you can't unsee it. Nope, you cannot. You won't be able to sleep at night once you truly understand it. So,
well, thanks, Jay. I really appreciate your time. And anybody that has any questions on it, let me know. Hit me up on Facebook. Give me a call. And if you want to talk to Jay, we'll get him on a 3-way. Jay, you okay with that?
Absolutely happy to do that.
Okay. All right. Even down in Puerto Rico?
Shoot, yeah. Just it's for those people on the West Coast, it makes for late evenings for me or early mornings for them, but we'll make it happen.
We'll make it happen. Well, thanks again, Jay. Yeah, I really appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you later.
All right, buddy.